Welcome to the end of opinions, which is to say your opinions. So, goodbye. Let's get this show on the road, shall we? Alright. How many do we have left? I don't know, but we're gonna move, boys. We're gonna move. You ready? Here we go. The ball's in my court. Bang. For as monumental as Ian is in the series, I can't rate it higher than B tier in all honesty. Last word spell cards are overrated, considering the nonsense you have to do to unlock all of them naturally. It has the bad shmup design where beating the game with a spread homing ghost border is infinitely easier than with a straight shot in Magic Scarlet. Malice Cannon is haram in terms of game design and for overall health of my hand. Sakuya's bomb doesn't work when a slave spirit is on the screen. Furthermore, for point 2, Scarlet and Magic Team actually have to memorize slave colors, while Ghost Team and Border Team obviously don't. Red and yellow outline slaves have active hitboxes, green and blue ones don't. I didn't know that, actually. It doesn't really matter to Reimu, because Reimu doesn't get hit by them. Good. Move the notepad to the left. Is that better? Okay. Alright, okay. Alright, okay. Chat, that's a hot take. It's not bait. Yeah, it seems reasonable, IG. Well, let's talk about this for a second. Last word spells are overrated considering the nonsense you have to do to unlock them naturally. They're bonus content. Bad shmup design where beating the game with spread homing is easier than with a straight shot. That's because of the spirit things, the things that disappear from your screen when you hold focus. Malice Cannon is bad for my health of my hand, then don't use it. Sakuya's bomb doesn't work when a slave spirit is on the screen. I don't know what that one's about, but that's kind of funny to me. Now we can't read the top line. What? That's because I didn't scroll, dummy. It's because it was scrolled down. Oh my god. Alright. Furthermore, Scarlet had to memorize slave colors. Anyway, that's a hot take. I don't know what A tier, S tier, double S, triple. I don't fucking know, dude. I don't know. It's so great, but it's not. It's B. It's B. All right. Any Touhou game where you can reasonably LNN while using the game's utility mechanic makes them A tier Touhou games, i.e., Hidden Star and Four Seasons, active cards, and Fossilized Wonder bullet cancels. I don't think anybody understands what this means. I don't think anybody actually understands what this means. And nobody knows. So let me explain. This is bait, chat, but it's not very good bait because nobody understands what they're saying. They're saying that mechanics that make it easier to avoid dying are automatically mechanics that help you avoid dying on the hardest difficulties automatically make a game good, and their examples are 16, 18, and 20. Which is them saying in a roundabout way that those games are all very good games, which I guess that's not true. I guess they don't believe that. Aren't bombs in every mainline game? See, so I have to explain what an LNN is. An LNN stands for Lunatic No Miss No Bomb, where you don't get hit and you don't use bombs. A game's utility mechanic is not related to the bombs. Seasons is the seasonal thing you can dispel, active cards, which you can use, and bullet cancels, which are self-explanatory. However, you notice they don't mention the Cherry Blossom border from 7, and they don't mention the Roaring mode from 17. So I guess they actually do like those games. Alright, whatever! You waste my time, I waste your time. EOSD, hella overrated. We should give more love to newer titles. Whatever you say. Whatever you say. Moving on. I have absolutely zero interest in reading and watching a fan-made story. Fan games are different because it's interactive, but otherwise I only care about canon material. Huh. Chad, that's a hot take. Kind of an interesting take, to be honest with you. So, reading, watching a fan story. So that means they don't care about reading doujins or like watching the very few animated things that exist. Most doujins aren't really massive series, I suppose. A lot of them I find are just kind of one-off goof troops. But there are some people who make bigger, more eventful ones, I suppose. Fan games are different because they're interactive. I get what they're coming from. You have some influence over the story, technically, in a way. But otherwise, I only care about canon material. I partially agree. I partially agree. For the most part, I do only really care about canon material, but I have been influenced by fan works in the past. That's for sure. It's hard to say. It's hard not to be influenced, especially when you agree with the interpretation of the character. It's kind of a big thing. But I tend to focus more on what's canon. But then, like I said, fanon slips in there. But some fanon, most fanon, at least you'd like to believe, most fanon stems from canon itself. So, interesting opinion that I can't dismiss entirely because I kind of get it. I think Chirano does not need flowers on her body. Okay. The Three Fairies manga are the only good Touhou manga. I thought this was Pokemon. It is Pokemon. That's not a streamer take. How is that a streamer take? I like Forbidden Scrollery and Wildhorn Hermit. And I like Symposium. And I like... Well, I mean, Symposium isn't really a manga, I suppose. That's not fair. There's like 5 mangas and half of them suck. Anyway, that's a hot take. I don't agree that the Three Fairies manga is the only good Touhou manga. But I do think that the Three Fairies manga is one of the best representations of the Gensokyo that I myself like. I like Forbidden Scrollery quite a bit, but... Three Fairies manga is just about three idiots goofing around. But there's also some plot lines in there that are kind of, like, interesting, you know? But it's probably the most... It's a fun read because there's, like I said, there's stuff in there that is kind of like, whoa. But then it ultimately stays with its slice of life feeling. From the perspective of goofball characters, it's pretty great. It's pretty great. Touhou 7 PCB was way harder than Touhou 6 EOSD. Lily! Alright. Boom, boom. Lily fly. Nobody cares. They're all paying attention to Lily. Anyway, this is a hot take. Okay, so I actually get this. I get this. So, EOSD, you can start with max lives in both. Marissa's bomb in EOSD is kind of like the great equalizer, which is to say, I don't want to do this, I'm not doing it. And patterns are more reactionary. Touhou 7, game's longer, so you're more inclined to fuck up. More patterns require understanding what it is you're doing to dodge them, so you can't just, you can't freeball as many patterns. And the end of the game is an 80-second timeout. So you can't bomb your way through that one either. And Yomu exists. Yomu is a fucking asshole of a boss. Legitimately, I think Yomu is like... She's really hard. Yomo's fucking hard, dude. Yomo harder than like every other boss. Yuyako's not as hard as Yomu, but when you get to Yuyako, you're usually like nervous, so it feels like she's more difficult than Yomu. But Yomu's a bitch. God, you get to Yomu with max lives, and I lose half of them, and I just like shit myself when I get to Yukari or Yuyako, because it's just like, well, okay, now I can't afford to lose any lives because Yomu took all of them. Fucking asshole. Suku are better than Fumo and Yukuri. Nobody even knows what the fuck that is. All Minariko fans are there for her chest. Otherwise, Shizuha would have all the fans. She has a cooler role and better design. I like how we're like comparing these two characters popularity-wise. Like their popularity isn't exactly the same. The popularity in universe is defined as Minariko being more popular, but their popularity as characters is their popularity as characters, they're pretty much always next to each other. So I don't know, saying people only like Minariko because she has a big chest size is kind of ridiculous, because like literally every character in the series you can just give a gargantua chest to, and that doesn't really, you know, it doesn't really change much. It's something, I suppose. Oh my god, Remy is so fucking yellow. I don't know, this guy sounds mad. This guy sounds mad. Kogasa is completely irrelevant considering that most/all of the roles and appearances she's made in official Touhou content are given to her for no good reason. This guy's a fucking hater. Oh man, he's angry. Getting mad. That makes no sense. What do you mean? Bait? You think it's bait? You really think someone would just post that as bait? Cause you're wrong, that's a hot take. Kogasa is completely irrelevant. Most of her roles and appearances made in official content given her no good reason. Kogasa's appearance in UFO is completely irrelevant. You are correct. Her being there has no bearing on anything. Her appearance in the extra stage doesn't really matter either. Her appearance in 13 is just because she moved to the graveyard and you happen to be going there. However, her role as a blacksmith is not given to her for no good reason. It's tied to her mythos as a character, with the Tatara and the Ippon Datara and whatnot. So that one I don't agree with. Kogasa's role, granted, it's not really much of a role per se. It's more like a chapter that established something, but that wasn't for no good reason. I'd argue that. But yes, her, despite being in 2 games, her role in both of them is like not actually, doesn't matter at all. Irrelevant. Nue is literally Seiya, but better in every way. Writing, drip, characterization. In comparison, Seiya has nothing on her and is just annoying. Is that true? That's true? Is that true? Chat, is that true? That's a hot take. Nue is literally Seiya, but better. Boom. The only thing those two have in common is they're dressed mostly in black. In comparison, Seiya has nothing on her and it's just annoying. Why are we comparing these two characters? There's nothing about them that is similar. They're only paired together because they're both fucking dressed in black. I don't really know what to say because it feels like there's no conversation to have because the entire conversation is based on confusion. It's my god. My god. Early Windows Touhou 6 to 8 has the worst gameplay in the series. Knockout! 3, 2, 1, go. Boom. Bait? You think that's bait? You think that's bait? Calling EOSD bad is bait nowadays? Is that what you think? Is that what you think? Maybe? That's a hot take, chat. Who wrote this? Early Windows have the worst gameplay in the series. The worst, though? Like, the worst? How is the gameplay any different in those games from latest games? No, like, genuinely, the gameplay part, you hold the button to shoot, you press the button to bomb, you move on the screen, and you press the shift button to move small. The gameplay is... The base gameplay is the same for every game. It's been the same since Story of Eastern Wonderland. They didn't specify mainline games either, so that includes 16.5. I don't know who wrote that, but they're correct. They're correct. Alright. Okina is better when appearing in her wheelchair because without unique character traits, she's just Yukari, but all her plans cause awful collateral damage. So not exploring the bits that could set her apart render her an unnecessary addition to Touhou. Oh, I don't even know where to start with this one. Oh my. Is being in a wheelchair a unique character trait? It's not a character trait at all. Oh my god. The only part about Okina I care about is that she's disabled. That's what I'm reading. Nothing else about the character matters. She has to be disabled, otherwise she's not cool. You know that she's not disabled? She's not disabled, she is the disability. These are Zun's own words. Okina is not disabled, that's why she can walk. However, she herself is a disability. Zun's own words, look them up, Strange Creators. He said this. Very true, very true. Anyway, saying that without Okina sitting in a wheelchair, she's just Yukari. Not exploring the bits that could set her apart, but according to this, the bits that set her apart is the fact that she sits in a wheelchair. You want to explore the part where she sits in a wheelchair despite having functioning legs and the ability to fly? Is that what you want to focus on? What the fuck are you talking about? They don't even care about Okina. At this point, their favorite character in this equation is the fucking chair. Take the chair away and Okina's nothing. Huh? Put the chair in and Okina's a real character? At this point, motherfucker, you just like the chair. The chair is your favorite character. It doesn't matter who's sitting in it. It can be any character sitting in it. The fucking wheelchair is the character you're interested in. Oh. I ain't reading that. I ain't reading that. Aku is overrated. Her design is way too over the top, and her personality is a nothing burger. No common sense one. Her lore is very surface level, and her abilities are nothing special either. She is a very overhyped character who fans praise while ignoring other more interesting characters. Bait. This is bait. You're so confident in that statement that it's bait. Gotta be bait? Really? You think? You think it's bait? Why would it be bait? Streamer, you're not convincing anybody. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. But that's not bait, chat. That's not bait. That's not bait at all. That's true. And that's not true, but... it's not true at all, but that's a hot take. That's a hot take. Her design is way too over the top. No. Her personality is a nothing burger, no common sense. She's a bird brain. Her lore is surface level. What? Her abilities are nothing special either. She can fucking do nuclear fusion in her body. She can do nuclear fusion within her body. What do you mean nothing special? She's a very overhyped character. She can launch nukes! Metal Gear! Fans praise her while ignoring other more interesting characters. I would fucking love to know who this person's opinion of more interesting characters is than a fucking Yatagarasu, who can do nuclear fusion within their body and launch, like, artificial suns. How is that not, like, you don't even have to like Oku to be able to acknowledge why that character is so cool. Hello? Explosions? Boom? Whoa, awesome! Kogasa and Yuyako have probably the best character designs in the entire series. The contrast of their respective color schemes makes them stand out, and they are immediately recognizable as Touhou characters. Are they? Yes, Rico, boom. Boom! Kowalski analysis! Oh. Unusual combination, but true. Do they really look like Touhou characters right away to you? I don't know what defines a character as looking like a Touhou character to me. Well, actually, I do. It's the hat. It's the hat that a couple characters had in early era Touhou, which honestly isn't a very lasting thing. It's really not that, like, lasting of a thing. The mob cap thing, it's only on a couple characters, mind you, in the grand scheme of things, but some of the most iconic characters have them, so they're synonymous with the series. So, yeah. Anyway. Bum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Dematory is the greatest Touhou circle of all time. You cannot tell me otherwise. Okay. He's pretty good. Zanmu should be in the next fighting game. That's a hot take. Yeah. Touhou 20's AI backgrounds ruined something special about the series. Spell card backgrounds between 6 and 8 have created some incredible set pieces with just stock images. Shoutouts to the random cat in one of Oku's backgrounds. Creativity is the basis for this series, which makes it really hard to see the direction the rest of the series might take from now on. I agree, Touhou's doomed. Touhou is doomed. Where will we go from here? Nowhere. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. It's over. It's so over, and we are not back. I do like the spell card backgrounds on earlier stuff, yes. I do appreciate them. I don't actually know what the fuck was AI in Touhou 20 at all. I don't. Maybe maybe it's better I don't. It's a stock image, bro. Yeah, but stock images are special. They're special because they're not AI. Zun's art used to be great, but the sprites he's been putting out in newer games are a massive downgrade. Take, for example, Nitori's sprite from Touhou 10 and now her sprite from Touhou 18.5. And just compare them side by side. I'm assuming when you say sprite, you mean their portrait art, in which case I fucking agree with this motherfucker. This guy is so right. Each of the sprites from the older Windows games look unique and colorful, but all the new Touhous literally have the exact same face. Yeah, but that's because in the old ones, Yomu had a K. Rool eye, and like Sakuya had K. Rool eye, and like they had like K. Rool eyes. You know, they had some goofy ass expressions. They were unique, but I guess unique look is more preferable to sanitized, I suppose. Bum ba-dum bum bum. Why this fucking idiot post what it was at the front? Wherever. Doremi X Sagume is far too popular for how little sense it makes. All the other popular ships make sense, but this one is literally cute girls doing cute things. This motherfucker answered his own question. Like, what? I didn't even read that part. Now that I read it, I'm pointless. Pointless. Your opinion's pointless. Your opinion is so pointless. None of them. No shit makes sense. And then you immediately answer your question. Fuck you. Die. The newer games have generally trended towards an increase in music quality over time. The only reason people don't like them compared to old tracks because of nostalgia. Perhaps they don't even like the music for its own quality, but instead of the qualities of its fan compositions. Now, you lost me at first there, but then at the very end, you made a very good point. At the very end, they made a very good point. How many people like the music because of the quality of the compositions that use it for fan music, right? You ever think of that? You ever think of that? If the original wasn't good, is what I'd say. But like I've said before, I don't think that Miko's theme is very, I don't think it's great, but then I've heard mixes of it that are amazing. I don't like Ghostsled, but Ghostsled has been mixed and has been really good. But then I like Lullaby of a Deserted Hell, and then I like every single mix of Lullaby of a Deserted Hell. So I don't know. But then there's also like themes that I really like, and then I listen to a certain genre of music that is that, and it's awful because that genre is ass. So, who can say for sure? I think it's less your fan compositions and more your fan of the genre. Who knows? But the idea that you only like old tracks because of nostalgia isn't really true. At least I don't think it holds up, unless nostalgia is like, well, I guess it would be 8 years ago. I think nostalgia is assuming these people played these games back when they came out. For me, that was like 8 years ago, not 23 years ago. Ah, ba boo 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 ba ba. Bum 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 bum. A common complaint with the new Touhou characters is that they tend to have a squandered character potential, and while I agree that this is the case, I believe this has been a constant within the series. Kain is an excellent character with great potential, but they haven't really done anything of note since 2009. What did she do in 2009? Hitate would be a good foil for Aya, but waited all the way till Foul Detective to get past cameos. Mima. What about Mima? What about Mima? Perfectly agreeable take, wouldn't you say, boys? I actually agree with everything that is said here. However, this is bad bait. This is bait, chat. This is bait. Whoever typed this doesn't believe it. But, I believe it. Everything they said is true. Even the part where they said Mima. That's just true. Mima. The second boss theme of a Touhou game is usually secure in being second best boss theme in that game. Chirno. Fine theme. Chen, that's an okay theme. Mistia, it's okay theme. Hina, great theme. Parsi, great theme. Kogasa, amazing theme. Kyoko, that's fine. Sekibanki, eh. Ringo, eh. Nemuno, Urumi, it's okay. Takane, nah. And Shimi, I don't remember it. That's pretty not true. I disagree. I think Kogasa is the best second stage boss theme, personally. But even then, I think that Sho's theme, Nue's theme, Byakuren's theme, Murasa's theme, Ichirin's theme, not in that order, mind you, are all... Well, maybe not Ichirin's theme, actually. But I do think the latter half of the game's boss themes are phenomenal. Alright. Rolling Star. Boss themes are, by their nature, repetitive. This of course serves purpose, as different people will take different times to beat any boss. However, it means stage themes are objectively better. Aku just got fucked up by a doll. Singular doll. Bababooey! I like how her in-between frames aren't colored. Chat, that's bait. That's bait. Stage themes are not objectively better, but stage themes are more tied to the experience of the stage, because most stages are at the same time no matter what you do, with very little change up. Bosses are similar, I guess, depends on how long you take spell cards, but there are some bosses like Clown Piece and Junko who have very, very long loops for their specific, because, you know. I don't really care for the Gensokyo the Gods Loved. It's easily Mountain of Faith's weakest stage theme. Listen to Dark Road or Primordial Scene of Japan. They are far better. Uh-huh. Yeah. That's a hot take. That's a hot take. Dark Road's funny, Primordial Scene is fine, but calling Gensokyo the Gods Love the weakest stage theme in Mountain of Faith, it just sounds like you want to dislike it because you were told it was popular. Speaking of, Shanghai Tea House Chinese Tea is overrated and the worst song in EOSD. No, the worst song in EOSD is the credits theme. Crimson Belvedere. Alright? Bait? You think that's bait? You think somebody would just lie? You think somebody would just... Oh, headbutt! Somebody would just hate the Chinese? That's a hot take, chat. Shanghai Tea House is stage 3, not Mei Ling. Mei Ling's theme is Shanghai Meiji of something or other. So, yeah. So that's the stage theme. Do 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 do. That one, that really good one. You know, the one that's really good. Mountain of Faith has the worst OST out of all the games. I disagree. I think it's 10 Desires, but some people might agree with you. Some people might agree with you. Throw the book at her. Oh, Mei Ling! There she is. Okay. That's a hot take, chat. That's a hot take. I think that 10 Desires has the worst overall OST based on my own personal tastes. But also, I don't really count too many games past a certain point because I don't remember their OSTs. So I can't really, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Not much I can say on that. But 13 is an OST I'm very familiar with, and I don't really like it. I think it's pretty weak. Yeah, I like some of the stage themes, but that's about it. Renko and Mary deserve the top popularity spots instead of characters like Satori, Moko, or Chirno. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. That's obvious bait. Why do you think that's bait? Do you think that's bait? Why do you think that's bait? That can't be bait. Why would that be bait? Why do they deserve it? Explain. Well, you're right, it's bait. It's bait. It's bait. It's bait. Sleeping Mei Ling jokes are worse than padded chest Sakuya jokes ever were. Well, I'm just gonna say this, chat. Sleeping Mei Ling jokes are still prominent in my day and age. I haven't seen a padded Sakuya joke outside of a video that's been made prior to 2010. Now, apparently, they still do this and they still post pad in Japanese. I remember I watched, I was watching ISC on RTA in Japan, and when they got to the Sakuya scene, the chat just started spamming PAD, and I was just like, well, okay, I guess it's more of a prominent thing in Japan, but sleeping Mei Ling jokes are still prominent everywhere. But yeah, the padded chest jokes for Sakuya is kind of really old, and I have to wonder how you're still being exposed to these types of things. I've never seen a modern one. KKHTA is not only not that good, but it's also had obnoxious consequences for how people characterize characters like Koishi. That and repetitive, unfunny fishing jokes. This guy hates fan work. I hate fan work. We all hate fan work. I don't know what this series has done for characters not named Koishi, but I can promise you that if it didn't exist, I would not lose sleep over it. That's for sure. Bum ba dum bum bum bum. Even if Touhou 18.5 is easy, it's one of the most fun Touhou games released on the last decade. So a decade ago, LOL-K was new. LOL-K was the newest game 10 years ago. So 18.5 is the most fun Touhou game from Touhou 15 up to Touhou 20. Easy. Easy. It's a hot take. Chat, 18.5 is not what I call an easy game, but obviously difficulty is subjective. However, objectively speaking, calling it the most fun Touhou game released is a blatant fucking lie, because that game is the farthest thing from fun I've ever seen. The only way I'd assume you find this game fun is if you only ever run the fucking card setups that make you unkillable. It's like turning on invincibility cheats and playing a multiplayer game. It's like, man, I love this game. It's so much fun. I'm winning. I'm winning. Look how good I am. Look how good I am. I'm winning. Yeah, you sure are. You sure are, bud. Are you winning, son? Yeah. Bum bum bum. I highly recommend any newcomers to the series to choose LOL-K as their first game. Oh. Bait. Evil? Hot? Bait? Evil? Well, that's a hot take. Chad, I don't fully disagree with this. You know why? Because LOL-K is a game where it's a chapter-based Touhou game. Point device lets you save progress, come back to it, and you get to experience a full Touhou game where you can actually beat it, and the game doesn't just tell you, try again, asshole. I don't think LOL-K is necessarily the best for the first game, but I unironically think that it is the easiest game for a new player to beat with a 1cc, just because of the nature of point device mode. The nature of point device mode lets you beat your head against the wall, as opposed to other games where you game over, you use to continue, you're not getting the 1cc, you lose. If your goal is just to get to the credits, then no, LOL-K isn't a good game. But if your goal is to get that one continue clear, then sure, why not? That might be the first Touhou game you actually 1cc, legitimately. Alright. A lot of the Touhou games after 12 are talked about less than the PC98 games, minus LOL-K. I'm fairly new to the series, but for where I am, this is the case for me. I love your videos. Well, thanks, but you didn't have to include that part. If you want to show your love for my videos, you can give me $100. Because Lord knows my chat won't give me anything. They hate me. Paid take. No, I actually think they're kind of right. Usually when people talk about Touhou games, there's definitely a certain point where games fall off unless they're new, in which case they're being shit on or defended. But PC98 games still end up in the conversation, not as frequently as like EOSD to POFV, mind you, but PC98 is surprisingly talked about. But some people think those games are really good. Usually it's 3 when people are talking about the PC98 games. They're talking about PODD versus POFV. But yeah, I do actually agree with this, that they are surprisingly talked about more than some later games. LOL-K has its, it has its infamy, but 14, not so much 13, because 13 is an easy punching bag. 14, 16, 17, 18, You know, I guess this is, you call it an awkward spot. You call it an awkward spot. Also, I love my videos. Do I? I don't know. I enjoyed working on them. I would enjoy it more if they made me money. Made me even more money. Time to get that cash money! Alright. I firmly believe Marissa is a boring character compared to most other characters and shouldn't be so relevant. Oh, that's a hot take, chat. Boring character? No. Shouldn't be so relevant. She's the deuterogonist. Phantasmagoria of Dim Dream is the best of the 3 Phantasmagoria games. Remember what I was just saying, like, earlier? You remember what I was saying earlier about that? When people talk about PC98, it's usually just them talking about that game and comparing it to the other ones? Yeah. Both gameplay and story-wise, I think Mountain of Faith is the best installment in the franchise to start with for people wanting to get into the games. Gameplay and story-wise. Is that Quakuma, or is that Daiose as Quakuma? That's Daiose as Quakuma. Okay, I was confused there for a second, because I know what Quakuma can do in this game. She's got combos. No, because boring bombs. Well, Mountain of Faith's mechanics are extremely non-existent. There's no graze. There's not even any graze. Not that it matters for a new player, but like there really isn't much going on in Mountain of Faith. That's for sure. Story-wise, I don't know about that, but I don't really think that matters that much. I guess it is kind of a soft reboot in a way. Because if you don't start with EOSD, you'll be a little confused by, I guess, Sakuya existing in 7, and then 8 is the culmination of all the games, the 2 games prior. But Mountain of Faith's kind of fresh, where it's just Reimu and Marissa again. I get that to an extent, but I don't think it's great to start with it because the game's hard. Well, I mean, its resources are you know, game is resource low when you start. You'll die a lot, and its continue system is extremely unfriendly to new players. That's the problem with it. That's the problem with it. If you're brand new, you only have 3 lives to start with, and then whenever you die, you're forced to start the stage at the beginning. You're forced to start the stage at the beginning, and then yeah. Reimu is the most boring yawn emoji, uninteresting side face, disgusting vomit emoji, and just a bad character sleeping emoji on hearts will be better. Hearts, heart eyes, sparkle eyes. That's bait. That's bait. Yeah, but it's true. It's true bait. Original Bad Apple, Touhou 4 is disappointing, and I hate that it made me assume that the whole PC98 OST was just as mid until a while later. Very incorrect. Very incorrect. This guy's self-reflected. The only track this guy ever heard was Bad Apple, the original PC98, and he was like, I will never hear any song ever again. I will assume that every song in the entirety of this portion of the series was mid. Yes. Yes. Anyway, that's bait chat, so who cares? Who cares? It's just bait. Bad Apple, more like Bad Apple. Ooh. Is it just me, or is Sakuya's stage theme like weirdly off kilter? Like the main melody is lagging a note behind the beat. It's too distracting for me to like it fully. I hear it at parts similar to 16. This sounds like when somebody is like listening to music and they hear their microwave go off and they're like, well, fuck. Shit, I guess I could never enjoy music ever again. What's kilter? It's something that you go off of. You know, like when they say go off king, like you go off kilter. It's, yep. Probably. Maybe. Surely. UN Owen is overrated. Phantom Ensemble make me die inside. I irrationally dislike Moko's theme as well. Other than that, I like pretty much what everyone else likes. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Oh, wait. What are we waiting for, buddy? Bait. 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 That's not bait, chat. That's not bait. That's a hot take. That's a hot take. Phantom Ensemble make me die inside. Now that is a good fucking sentence. I'm gonna remember that one. Shut-in Edgelord Flandre is a much more fun and interesting direction than the Gooby Flandre, as well as a nice compromise for angsty / neglected Flandre that used to get pushed a lot. How dare you diss Gooby? You can't do that. You can't do that. Shut-in Edgelord is more fun and interesting than Gooby. Well, it depends on your opinion of Gensokyo, really. That's a hot take, chat. I am of the opinion, I like Gooby because Gooby is more slice of lifey. But if you like the more serious stories, then Shut-in Edgelord, sure. Sure. But personal preferences here dictate that I like slice of life. I think people would make fire levels in Geometry Dash if given access to Touhou songs. I'm not very familiar with Geometry Dash, but I assume that that guy is 100% correct. And we'll leave it at that, really. I like Aya's Moth theme over Wind God Girl. You like it so much you forgot its name? That's Yokai Mountain, Mysterious Mountain. If you're not even gonna name the name, but you know the name of the other one, come on, brother. Come on, brother. What are you doing? What are you doing? Well, chat, that's a hot take. I don't agree that it's better than Wind God Girl, but I do really like both of her themes. I think they're both great. Although I guess to an extent Hatate is more synonymous with it because of her use of it in her appearance, and Aya having Wind God Girl as her main theme, because that's the theme that she debuted with. So, yeah. Alright. It's a little annoying that the main community interpretation infantilizes Chen, and I'd like to see a version that actually has her personality and not just child. It's a cat, my guy. It's a cat. He's a cat. What personality? She's a cat. Oh, ee. Chen is an inexperienced Shikigami doing her best. Oh my god, what am I doing? What am I doing? There we go. Okay. Yamame's theme fits better on Rainbow Road than a dank cave or a spider, especially a specific part. I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm trying to like visualize how that would go down. Rainbow Road. It's called Rainbow Road. It's where you go when you die. I mean, maybe it does fit after all. What? That's a hot take. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Fuck off. I searched Rainbow Road and Google's like, where's your location? We'll help you find the nearest Rainbow Road. Like, fuck off. Okay, hold on. Hold on, chat. Hold on, this is important. This is very important. What do you think? Ooh. Magic. Bum bum ba-dum bum ba-da-da-da-da-dum. Okay. It's called a Rainbow Road. Glorp. Glorp! Shit. Okay. Alright. Utterly shocked to see the title themes placed so low in the popularity polls. They're extremely iconic and should clearly be appreciated more. Streamer, what? Sorry, I forgot to recapture the thing. I have a lot of things open, and display capture is always something that I don't like doing because obvious reasons. There are some streamers who will never do anything that involves display capture. They are terrified of it. Some of them are shameless. Always be careful. Always. Anyway, title themes are fine and all, I guess, but they're not really much of anything, especially compared to characters and character themes and stages. Because Touhou is more about the characters in the world than it is the games itself. So, yeah. Speed up, streamer. Speed up. I'm speeding up. I'm speeding up. Alright. Okina is a ripoff of Yukari. Zun tried so hard to make her the new cool sage, but gave her similar characteristics to an already built-in character. He should try to make her someone unique, kind of like Kassen. Make her more unique by making her like another character. I actually agree with this chat member though, is that Okina is just modern Yukari. It's just modernized Yukari. Yep. Silent Sinner in Blue is not bad. People just went in with skewed expectations. I fucking despise you for this opinion. This is the stupidest fucking opinion ever. I hate when people say shit like this. Oh, the only reason you don't like it is because you were told that it was bad when you went in. So you didn't actually form an opinion on your own. No, the only possible way you couldn't like it is if someone said, this is bad, and then you read it and you were like, wow, that's bad. I fucking read it. I read it myself. I read it, and it wasn't that great. And there you go. And then I learned that people didn't like it either. And then I learned that other people didn't like it. And then I read Strange Creators, and then was like, man, people really didn't like that, but they came around to it. Not bad. People just what it was skewed expectations. What do you think the motherfuckers did who read it the first time? You think they picked up their volumes as they were going and were like, you know what? This is actually really bad because somebody told me. It was Zun told me himself when I bought the first volume. He was like, you know, you probably shouldn't read that. You know, it's not that great. It's not that great. And then you read it and you're like, man, he was definitely right. It's not that great. I now hate this. Yep. Because there's nothing in Silent Sinner in Blue at all that could possibly be something not popular with people. Nah, it's impossible. That's impossible. No. It's not bad. You just went in thinking it was gonna be bad. Because you can't form your own opinions on things. Zun should reuse Yukari's Wa outfit. Yukari has two main outfits, her sleeping gown and sage outfit, but my favorite one is the one she wears in Wa. Looks really unique and fits her character perfectly, casual yet professional and modest. Even though that outfit was created by the author and not Zun. Still love to see it in future mangas or games that should ever appear in them. Would also love to see more Yukari fan art in that outfit. Well, the thing is that, like, it's basically just her gown, but customized to look more like a dress instead of a nightgown. I guess I get what you're saying, though. Because Yukari either has battle attire or not battle attire, but the actually making the nightgown, as we refer to it, actually making the nightgown a proper dress would be nice for the character. She's got like a corset on properly in Wildhorn Hermit. It actually looks like a proper outfit, but in PCB, it really it's just like a loose purple dress that really feels like sleepwear. Nina is just going to be an irrelevant gimmick joke, and then the title of funniest character in Touhou will return to Mononobe no Futo. Is he right? Is he right? Is she the funniest character in Touhou? Mononobe no Futo? That's a hot take. Alright. Fossilized Wonders really gave us a pyramid and then proceeded to do not be anything about Egypt. We were all just as fooled as Nariko was, just like Alice in PCB, SMH. I'm pretty sure Nariko is based on... She's based on a sphinx that exists in Japan, right? Wasn't that the idea of her? It was like the type of yokai that she is. She's like a guardian, but there's like an actual sphinx in Japan that she's based off. Yeah, Dosujin, that's what it's called. I don't know the details exactly, but I guess he decided to make it like a pyramid because of that? Who knows? Who knows why he did anything? Who knows why he did anything? We need another Touhou 1 style game just so people don't get too comfortable. I like this guy's mind. I like how this guy's mind works. This guy's mind right here, this is brilliant. This is a brilliant mind right here. We don't need it because it's good or because it's fun, but it's just so people don't expect the usual. That's bait, but that's funny. That's funny. Alright. The reason there are very few men who participate in Danmaku battles is not because Zun enjoys drawing girls, but rather because most men in the human village aren't interested in creating elegant designs of beauty and prefer to focus on daily life. Okay, then how do you explain all the female villagers who don't do Danmaku? You know, like... What? Men aren't Hello? Elegant designs of beauty. Marissa uses a giant fuck-ass laser. Come on. Come on, bro. Fuck-ass laser. You think if a dude doesn't see that and goes, that's fucking radical. Fuck you. Zun really needs to stop doing duo characters if he isn't going to try. Making them a pair will never improve things if they're both boring. That is unbelievably true. Oh my god. Oh my god. Mai and Satono, baby. Mai and Satono. Two characters necessitate each other. Neither character is interesting. As a result, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Not even Zun. Nobody cares. Shion and Jun. Did you miss the part where he said isn't going to try? If you want to talk about a pair character that works, that would be the Origami Sisters. Those motherfuckers are night and day. They are funny. They are strong individually and strong together. Other pair characters don't exist unless they are in the presence of the other. They have no unique individuality that makes them stand out, and they are just part they're one half of a boring character. That's you dare put the fucking Yorigamis in the same conversation as Mai and Zatono. Come on now. Those two characters, that is right there is a take of a good character. Two individually strong characters who together cause all kinds of silly business. But they are a pair character. But they are functional without the pair. They're great. Alright. Bum ba-dum ba-dum. Most Touhou fans only choose their favorite characters based on their designs and looks. Koishi is name dropped because they don't give a shit about their canon personality traits while insisting on unfunny, decade-old fanon jokes and interpretations for said character. What do you think this guy's favorite character is? He only liked me for my shorts. I like how he singled out Koishi. I like how Koishi was singled out there. Koishi is the pinnacle of design and looks for instant like. Like, Koishi wasn't only popular after she got a knife and a scary face. Come on, man. Terrible example. Terrible fucking example. Wait a minute. If you assume that design is the character, but design can also mean, well, okay, all right. I'm getting confused. I'm getting confused by the writing here, but it don't really matter. Point is, that's a hot take, chat. But for a lot of Touhou characters, all you really get is what they look like. But yeah, that is true. But I'm curious as to what exactly this person's characters they like are. But honestly, if they told me they liked a character who's not that popular and then posted 3 paragraphs as to why they're a good character, I wouldn't fucking care about that either. I would just not read the paragraph. I would not fucking care at all. Zun's Stage 6 themes were hit or miss in the past, but the good ones were way better than now, where Stage 6 is leitmotif and the boss theme is the same leitmotif but bigger. This guy is possibly correct. He's saying that I don't know what he's saying. Anyway, that's a hot take. But I don't remember most Stage 6 themes because the stages themselves are short. There you go. Go ahead and read that to yourself, I guess. Beep, 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 beep. Shimi's theme is too cool for her. Like, I get that she has the courage of a lion, but she's still just a stupid child. And that makes me a little disappointed that the song was given to her. She doesn't live up to the song's hype. Yeah, but like, what are you gonna take and apply it to a different character? He's right, by the way. Shimi's theme is way too fucking grand for Shimi's character as a whole, but Shimi's theme is fantastic. Yeah, that's a hot take. That's a hot take. That is a hot take. Whoops. Touhou designs should go weirder. Everyone has 2 arms and 2 legs. SMH, at least give me someone with an eye patch. They should go weirder, like an eye patch. Crazy. Crazy. Insane, boys. Anyway, that's a hot take. The Gensokyo the gods loved is overrated. It's not bad. There are plenty of stage themes that are better and deserve more attention. Like Fires of Hokai. Also wish Zun used older characters more and fleshed them out instead of constantly creating new ones. Quality over quantity. After Touhou 15, the characters aren't interesting anymore. Wait, is he right? Is he right? No, he can't be because Jun came out after that. He's wrong. He can't be right because if he's right, it conflicts with my personal worldview. So he's wrong. Jun and Xion is 15.5. Let me ask you something, genius. What number comes after 15? You're never gonna fucking believe this. You're really not. You're really not gonna believe this. Fucking Jesus, what are you even saying? Oi, oi, oi. Oi, oi, oi. Yuka being unused is a disgrace, TVH. Girls deserve more than 0 dialogue in 20 years. Admittedly, what the fuck is Yuka doing? What has Yuka been doing these last 20 years? Not much, I assume. You know, that's... Does she deserve more? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? She had her time. It'd be nice to have more, I suppose. Outside of Yukari and Tengu, the ones people of the human village could blame for their suffering are Akio and Kane as they manipulate history in the name of preserving balance. Rainbow is arguably complicit in some way, too. But this implies that the things that they do to manipulate history... You know what? That's a whole different fucking topic, and I don't want to talk about it. But I get what they're saying, is that those two have powers that can formulate narratives. In fact, that's kind of Akio's role with the Chronicle, is to formulate a narrative that yokai are scary. But Kane's ability, well, we don't know to the extent that she's ever really used it because, well, Zun doesn't use Kane. So, ergo, she doesn't use... You know what I mean? You see what I mean? You see the problem here? You see the problem here? Design of characters from the later games are as good, if not better, than the ones from the Golden Era, and they deserve the same level of popularity. Tell me how the designs of Keiki, Megumu, Seija, Shimada, or Yuimon aren't peak. Okay, Keiki looks like a Latino grandmother. So, okay, Latina grandmother with her sandals and her bib. Megumu is Blue Aya. Seija just looks like a punk scene from this Golden Era. Shimada is just Zipper Man, and Yuimon, you just like dirty women. There you go. There you go. That's how I've described it. I've described it. You like dirty women. La-di-da-di-da. La-di-da. Those designs are so much more interesting than Golden Era. Are they? Are they? Okay. Alright. Whatever you say, brother. I wish Zun would dig more about how Tengu society worked. The rift between Aya, Momiji, Megumu, and Hatate would be spicy. You know, to a degree, I agree. However, I also think that Tengu society is the last thing I want to learn about in any capacity because they're all fucking annoying. Because they all think they're better than others. The reason Aya, Momiji, and Hatate are fine is because Aya, despite her position, is jovial, and Momiji doesn't actually do anything, and Hatate doesn't actually do anything. Megumu is the greatest illustration of why actually learning about how Tengu society works would be a monumental fucking waste of my time. That's what that is. Man, I'm sure interested in Tengu. I wonder what they're like. And then Megumu appeared, and I did not give a fucking... I didn't give a single shit anymore about how their society operated at that point. Who cares? They all think they're better than everybody else. Move on. I wish someday Zun will introduce a human villager as an antagonist, like a member of that secret society who are trying to dominate Gensokyo, but in my mind I already know he won't since status quo. Well, blah blah blah, of course. So if you didn't know, the secret society is a not talked about or explored thing that is actually supposed to exist, where it's a society of humans who are banding together to try and take over Gensokyo or some shit like that. That's real, by the way. The closest thing to a human villager antagonist we ever got was Fortune Teller, and he got domed. He got domed instantly, so... An actual antagonist from the human village would be fucking quietly removed, like, instantly. That's really what it is. The human villagers aren't really... They're not really gonna get away with anything unless they do some crazy shit. And even then, the fortune teller tried some crazy shit and he got fucking shaboomed. He got shaboomed! But why? Because I hate you, lol. Aya had a much more interesting characterization in her first appearances. Originally, she was a decent, if slightly incompetent reporter whose flaw was her inability to put herself into others. So while she normally reported the facts right, it sometimes caused her to get the motives completely wrong. However, this is a nuanced characterization, so the fandom eventually Zun portrays her as a component amoral journalist so that it is easier to tell jokes at the expense of making Aya now a very uninspired character. This guy is very right. This guy's very right. Did you know that? This guy is 100% correct. He's very right. Well, it's better than the... well, actually, maybe it's not better. It might be better than the interpretation of her just being a peep photographer. So, there you go. That's a hot take, chat, but I actually agree. Aya originally, as a reporter, had her flaws in her articles, which is fun. And then you look at Lotus Eaters, and she's like, I'm gonna be a dog whistle! And then Megumin was like, haha, we did it, but nobody would ever actually, like, blow the whistle on us because, we're Tengu and we're so cool. And Aya's like, well, shit, I guess I can't do that anymore. Like, that was a great chapter that was definitely worth the 5 minutes I spent reading it. Yeah. Yeah. Characters that are naturally so strong, like Reimu and Yorihime, so that they automatically win, are not interesting and suck all the enjoyment for any fight they are in. Well, I mean, yeah. But when it comes to the protagonist, it's not about the character. It's not about the character winning. It's about how the character wins, because you can't say shit like Reimu. Anytime Reimu fights, it's not fun because she's gonna win, because that's every protagonist. Protagonists win because that's what moves the story forward. You're not watching to see if they win or lose. You're watching to see how they win. The issue with the antagonist just being so strong that nobody can beat them is they're not nearly as interesting because you don't really care how they win. It's kind of not fair, I suppose, when you say it like that, is it? It's not really fair. Yorihime can do the same thing, but she's not the protagonist, so she doesn't get a pass. That's kind of true. That's kind of true. But, yeah. It can be not very fun to watch characters who can't lose actually be a part of a fight, because they're not going to lose. But, like I said, sometimes it's not about seeing who wins or loses, it's about seeing how they win. Side characters can lose. They can lose. They could be outnumbered, but you want to see the progress of a fight. You want to see lasting damages, you know, when opponents are tough, when they don't just keel over. I don't know, I feel like I'm trying to explain storyboarding right now, but they are right to an extent, where when a character is designed to never lose, it can be pretty boring, but when they're a protagonist, they have to kind of win, and when the stakes are too high for the protagonist to lose. But then you have a series where it's like people die all the time, and those are also shitty because there's no reason to be attached to anybody because they all just fucking die at a moment's notice. Alright. Tay. While I still like them, the cast of Touhou 6 EOSD is a bit overrated, and I much prefer the cast of 17, Kutaka and Mayumi, my beloved. What does overrated mean, exactly? What is the dictionary definition of this word? Why are they overrated? I don't understand what makes them overrated. Because they're characters that have been fleshed out over years of fan interpretations and canon appearances? Versus characters who appeared in one game and didn't do anything else? This guy loves Kutaka and Mayumi. Wow. I bet you're very interesting. Anyway, that's a hot take. I much prefer the canon of most characters over fanon. Huge example, Koishi. Yeah. Yeah, I get this one. I get this one to a certain degree. But, I am of the opinion that pretty much every character who appears in Lotus Eaters is character assassination at its finest. I don't like the way any character in Lotus Eaters is particularly written. So I have to disagree on that regard, but prior to a certain year threshold, I would agree that canon is more interesting than fanon stuff. But some fanon stuff is very interesting, and you can incorporate it into your own beliefs. But CDS is kind of rough as well for some people. I'm not as perturbed by that one, but Lotus Eater single-handedly made me like Suika less as a character. It made me understand why Suika as a character should just... It's better when she's just being funny. I used to think, like, it's cool when people acknowledge that she's, like, not just a drunk dope. But then Lotus Eaters did that, and I was just like, maybe it's better when she's a drunk dope. It's just more fun. I don't even know who the fuck she is anymore. Who is this character? Huh? Lunarians aren't as bad as the community makes them out to be. Yep. Yeah. Whatever you say, budda. Whatever you say. Shimada did nothing wrong. She's just trying to make some money, man. Honestly, facts. Straight up, just facts. She's just trying to make some fucking cash, bro. Can a chick have a side hustle? Personally, I think that the Dream World, and by extension Doremi Suite, is a dumb concept, and honestly should have not been included in an otherwise perfect game like LoL-K. Firstly, it downplays what the Lunarians are capable of by making them rely on a backdoor that was made up just for this game. The Lunarians are meant to be a force to be reckoned with, so this just reduces them to what is essentially another incident that needs to be resolved instead of something special. Also, it gave Sumireko an excuse to be relevant after Urban Legend and Limbo, and I don't like her that much, so that doesn't help. This guy's so correct. This guy's correct! Oi, 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 oi. Chat, that's bait. That's bait! That's bait. You silly, silly, silly boy. Hee hee ha 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 ho 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 ho. Hee 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 ha ho 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 ho. Hee hee ha ho ho. I personally don't believe the story of Osana Reimu was that sad or even that good of writing. Oh, hee hee ha ho ho ho. Hee hee ha ho ho ho. Ooh. Streamer, what is Osana Reimu? Oh, some fan work. They targeted towards me personally. It's alright. Chat, it's bait. It's bait. It's bait. Alright. Alright. It's bait, don't worry. Osana Reimu is pretty cool. I do not want Touhou in Smash Bros. Firstly, the Smash community would react so poorly that they would scream about how this is a character that nobody knows about, even though there are regions of the world where Touhou is indeed popular to a decent degree. This is how it went with Terry when he was made DLC and alt. SNK is in fact popular in certain regions like Latin America and Saudi Arabia. Secondly, the current approach to Smash character design would mean that a Touhou character would be a very obnoxious zoner to play against, because they'd have to adhere strongly to the character's origins and gameplay. See Steven Ultimate. I like these two in a fight because they fucking kill each other in 3 hits. Oh my god. Ho ho ho. Well, Chad, that was bait, just so you know. But the thing is, despite them saying that was bait, they are 100% correct. Reimu would show up and people would be like, nobody cares about Reimu. Who the fuck is this Japanese girl, anime character? And then her gimmick will be like, Reimu spends most of the game on the other side of the stage firing projectiles. These projectiles rack up damage and are her kill moves. And it's like, oh, that's fun. That sounds like very much fun. You stand and you shoot, and you don't engage. Like, very fun. Oh boy, here we go. I like Moko X Kane a lot, but I don't really see how people make it a more doomed Yuri type situation when Kane will eventually die of old age. Well, you answered your own question. After all, she's half yokai, and in fiction, most half-human, half-monster characters usually abide by the aging rules of their monster half. Even if Kane's yokai half was more of a transformation under specific circumstances or other more permanent half, but I imagine she lived decently long life, not to mention the time Marissa commented that Renosuke, another half yokai, hasn't aged a day appearance-wise. Granted, Touhou works on comic book time, so maybe that's not the best argument. Okay, let me just immediately fucking stop you on this, where you don't understand why it's a doomed Yuri situation where Kane will eventually die of old age. And then you go on to say that she will abide by half yokai age, so she'll live a long time. Moko is immortal. Moko will never die. It does not matter how long Kane lives. She will eventually die because Moko is immortal. What don't you understand about that? That's why it's doomed. That's why her other ship that's so popular is the other immortal. They'll never die. Ever. Ah! Anyway. So passionate, streamer. Maybe a little bit. 12-15 is the start of the trends to lead to the current game's decline and lack of relevance. Too true. Too true, bestie. Too true. Lack of relevance. It's bait. Don't worry. It's bait. I don't have to answer. Touhou games since 14 and above have been kind of stagnant in a way where each game feels very samey, with the only difference being the setting, bosses, and gimmicks. This is a number of reasons, and to name a few. No new enemy types since 12. Fairy reskins or boss minions don't count. So no new enemies, but the new enemies don't count. It doesn't even need the great variety PC98 had. Just add one or two special enemies to a relevant location. Like, it doesn't make sense for the Haniwas to not be a staged enemy on 17, for example. And if they appeared earlier, it would enable a much more interesting fight with Mayumi, since the Hani ones would have already been introduced. You are right about that. The player sprites being the exact same for 10 games in a row. Okay, so you're right about that. The last time Reimu and Marissa's sprite has been updated was Touhou 9. Sakuya sprite was updated in 14 to give her stockings, but otherwise it is still the Touhou 9 sprite. So yes, the sprites stopped changing since Touhou 9. The removal of character portraits when using a bomb, just a detail that gave character the early games, made using a bomb feel much more impactful. Speaking of impact, Master Spark feels like Garbo for 10 games in a row. Power system being Garbo since 13 and above, like having to take half the stage to recover from a single hit, is not fun. At least during bosses, makes them drop more power between phases. Lack of minor fix updates, grazing not existing for a while, and so on. At least Fossilized Wonder gave us shapes and beats as new enemies. It only took a decade. You know, he's kind of right. This guy's actually 100% right. Did you know that? He's absolutely right. Everything he just said is correct. He's just correct. This guy is just correct. Straight up, this guy is just correct. The new power system sucks. I liked it better when I got to 127 power and then I max powered all over the place. And nowadays, I get 4 power, I get hit and I explode and lose 1/8 of my entire power. And it's like, fuck. This guy's right. This is a hot take, but it's actually the truth. It's actually the truth. Alright. You fell for Zanmu bluffing in 19. The entire plot of the 3 Vs Hisami, Seika, and Reimu being her final boss were clearly not planned, but you still fell for her baloney. Zamu being like, everything rests at the top of my palm. Yo, Hisami released the Condemned, you fool, that was part of my plan. It's not like I wanted to take a break or anything like that. No, I just wanted to make the Condemned feel a bit of hope before I tear it apart. Yes, because I'm Oni among Oni and malevolent. Yes, stop atop upon my hand. Yes. Connection terminated. Good ass song. Oh, ah, ooh, ah, that was bait chat, but yeah, Zamu is a terrible character. She is a terrible character. My god. Arya Iwanaga has one of the most rad and coolest character designs in the series. Okay. Ooh, Ichiden's original design is better than her fighting game design. That is so fucking incorrect that it actually makes me want to take a big swig of this bottle. I have not eaten, so any alcohol I drink right now will destroy me. But that fucking connection terminated. Yep, the connection between my liver and the rest of my system. Oh my god. Anyway, chat, that's not bait. That's not bait. That's a hot take. Do you know what Ichiden looks like in UFO versus the fighting games? My god. My god. Oh. I'm good. I don't care about shipping. How brave. Touhou Misty's Izakaya is overrated. It starts off great, but then it gets real repetitive that it becomes really boring. The rhythm game mechanic is also extremely easy and completely unnecessary. Alright. The gameplay of Mystia can definitely get repetitive, but I like the game because it's relaxing. It's not a very exciting game. I just think I think it's a nice cozy game though. But it's kind of like when people talk about Harvest Moon or Animal Crossing. You know those games. Like some people like Harvest Moon type games a lot. Like Stardew is a good example. Stardew is a great game. But then there are some people who will look at a game like Stardew or Harvest Moon or Animal Crossing and they'll be like, there's like no fucking point to this video game. They're just like, that's kind of what Mystia is. Mystia is a game where either you're into that type of genre or the game is just like, the game is just not for you. The rhythm game mechanic is easy. Yes, it is easy. The mini game is fun. But the singing thing is mostly just thematic. It's mostly just a thematic thing. It's a good cozy game, and cozy games are very popular because gamers are very casual. I'm sure you've noticed. It's a different breed of gamer out there now. Nope. Bam, 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 bam. Despite the limited sound font of the PC98 era, the OST from the games feels livelier and more expressive than the recent Windows eras, especially 19 and 20. I don't have much to comment on because I don't remember the soundtracks of these games, but I do think that the PC98 era music is quite good, And it's not just because I am a slave to chiptune, because when I hear chiptune, I don't automatically think, yo, this shit slaps, turn that up. I just, if music is good, music is good. And a similar take come up earlier. Well, considering I'm almost 700 deep into this shit, I would hope so. Or I would assume so. Oh boy, here we go. Here we go. The only reasons Hisso Tensoku is more popular than the newer art style fighting games, AOCF and Yulil, are because it has a large roster and because it actually plays as a grounded fighting game. What the fuck are you trying to say with this? What the fuck are you trying to say with this? What does that mean? The only reason Hisso Tensoku is more popular is because it has a large roster of characters and it plays like a fighting game. Huh? Isn't that a good thing? People would like it less if it didn't play like a real fighting game. What? What? It's only popular because it has a large roster and it plays like a grounded fight. What the fuck? What the fuck? That's not bait, chat. That's a hot take. Not a hot take. Or not bait. That was a hot take. Every character introduced from one of the fighting games has their personality absolutely butchered when they get introduced into the mainline games. Suika gets introduced in 19. Iku and Tenchi don't. Kokoro doesn't. Sumireko gets her spin-off game. Kassen, I guess, counts. Kassen would count. Yuma as well, but Yuma didn't really change at all. Yuma lost her teeth, but she didn't lose her bite. Anyway, that's bait, chat. There's not many examples, so saying butchered is a bit strong. But, like, I don't know. Seika's definitely a different character. I've always pronounced Mamizo as Mamizao, rather than it being pronounced as Mamizo. In spite of that, I think my own pronunciation of it is better than the real one. Mamizo? Mamizao. 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 He called it Mamizao, but it's Mamizo. Mamizo. Mommy! Mommy! Well, that's a hot take. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Alright. Moko's canon personality feels so fanon that it took until Touhou Lost Word, the spin-off mobile game, it's a fucking generous term, buddy, for Moko's writing to actually feel canon. That's bait. No? No? What do you mean? I don't know what Moko's written as in Lost Word. I don't know what she's written as. I'm not sure what this means. They're saying that Moko's personality in canon feels like it's made up fanon, and that her personality in Lost Word feels more like makes her feel more like canon. But I don't know what that. How does that? I don't really get how that works. You know, I don't really get how that works for the spin-off game to feel like more canon when the canon feels like fanon. So how does the what? What? I don't know. The wording's tough. But it's bait, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's just bait. It's just bait. Come on now. Come on, it's bait. Come on. Get over it. Get over it. I feel like every time a new and powerful character is introduced, it takes tons of games just for them to actually feel so strong again. Tenchi is probably the biggest example of this. She had a rise in her introduction from Hisso Tensoku. She wasn't introduced in Hisso Tensoku. A fall after being characterized as a huge masochist by the fan base. Finally felt like a genuine threat again in AOCF, especially in the Jun and Shion story. And then Lost Word, made her seem so much weaker and flanderized. I can't fucking believe Lost Word would flanderize a Touhou character. Impossible. Why can't they just make characters stay threatening and powerful rather than ruin them like what Sonic Team did to Silver the Hedgehog? I don't know what they did to them, but yeah, okay. Chat, that's a hot take. That's a hot take. Somebody believes this opinion. Somebody believes this opinion. The opinion itself isn't necessarily bad. The problem here is that they're using a character's appearance in Lost Word as an example of a character becoming less powerful. Which, to take that out in your opinion's fine, but don't fucking bring Lost Word into this, brother. Don't bring that into this. Spell card backgrounds are more visually interesting than 99% of the bullet patterns. Bro, is this gonna play? Like, taking forever. Alright. Ooh, ee, ee, ah, ee, ee. Ooh, ee, ee, ooh, ee, ee, ooh, ee, ee. Ooh, ee. No, 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 no. Well, Chad, that's a hot take. Just so you know. That's a hot take, but I don't agree with 99% of bullet patterns, but I think some spell card backgrounds are pretty neat. But I think some spell cards are very pretty. So, yeah. Complaints of EOSD glazing and overrepresentation are valid, but I'm tired of seeing IN being glazed to hell and no one bats an eye. I demand equality. That's right, chat. Everybody says that EOSD is overrated, but they don't say that IN is overrated, and that's not correct. They should be saying the same. Truth, all of them are trash. Correct. They're all bad. Everything's bad. It's all bad. Everything's been bad. Oh my god. Are valid. It's valid. It's complaining about EOSD is valid, but you should also be complaining about IN. In a strange twist, he's right. If you're gonna complain about EOSD, then fucking complain about all of it, you bitch. You bitch. But no, it's just EOSD. Ba-ba-dum-bum-bum-ba-dum-bum. This Yoshi's Island music got pretty nice, actually. Marissa needs a win. She's been bullied and thrown around for the last few years in games and print work for the sole purpose of setting Reimu up to finish whatever the major threat is. She's gone from Touhou's Luigi to Touhou's Princess Peach, and I don't mean modern Peach. I'm talking damsel in distress levels of helpless. Is this true? Any Marissa fans confirm that this is true? He didn't solve the 20 endings. This implies the 20 endings are canon, and not every 20 ending is just Reimu. Come on now. Come on. Come on. Give it the program, boys. Give it the program. Everybody wins except our main characters. Lots of hot take, apparently. Alright. Alright. I know streamer made the example regarding Sakuri's maid outfit completely ruining the cool image, but I'll take it further. Sakuri would be way better if she ditched the maid costume entirely, don a Bloodborne outfit, please. I mean, Sakuya dressed as a fucking hunter would be sick as hell. That's for sure. I don't like the maid costume because I think it completely ruins our cool aesthetic. I mean, I like stockings, but maid outfits? No. They're not for me. No, no, no. Sakuya would actually just be dressed in that kind of gear if she was going to go kill somebody. That's pretty cool. Awesome, isn't it? Hot take. You and Owen Was Hurt is a mediocre song. I'm just, listen, I'm gonna read the rest of this, but I just like to say, this is legitimately the first time that somebody has used the word mediocre to describe something. Not overrated, not mid, just mediocre. Just putting that out there. Just mediocre. Nuclear Fusion and Lunatic Princess are leagues better than it. First of all, that's just not fucking true. But whatever. That's a hot take. The only thing I care about with this take is that he said mediocre. He didn't use any fucking modern day slang. He said mediocre. And for that, I can snap my fingers to that. I can snap my fingers to that. Alright. Perhaps plain as day, I'm not knowledgeable in expectations and hidden conventional design rules for shmups, much less Touhou. But while Touhou 2 is stuck on PC98, I, chat member, think it serves as an entry point to the series just fine. I'm gonna go put my head through a wall. That's what I'm gonna do right now. Story of Hole in My Wall. That's the next game. Who is this? Who said it? Who is this chat member who said this? Who said it? Self-report right now. Self-report right now. Anyway, it's bait. There's no real chat member like that. There's no real chat member like that. Come on. Yomu should have a melee attack whenever she's a playable character that deals a ton of damage but is incredibly risky to use because you have to get within breathing distance of the enemy. Doesn't she already kind of do that anyway? I mean, obviously she doesn't fucking put her head up their skirt, but like, doesn't she need to get close to do real damage anyway? I don't think she really needs the ability to like get up to their toes and then slash them in half. That's all. She's already a strong character. She needs to be stronger. She's hard to use, though. She's kind of a unique playstyle relative to a lot of other characters. Well, that's a hot take, but I don't think she needs to be that much stronger, but I can't use Yomu. Yomu's too complicated for my small brain. Necrofantasy is a better song than Necrophantasia. I don't understand why people say this. Like, you can like Necrofantasy more than Necrophantasia, but calling it a better song is just confusing, because it's the same song. It's the same fucking song. It's just a different rendition of it. Don't say it's a better song. Say it's a better version of a song. It's the same song. It's the same song. Alright? It's not a different song. Same song. Same song. It's a better arrange. Alright? It's a better arrange. Well, that's a hot take. I think Necrofantasy's great, but call it like it is. Call it like it is. Okay? If Mima returned to Windows canon, half of her fans would come to realize they only liked the idea of her returning and never actually cared about Mima as a character. Yes. Correct. This is correct. I was actually thinking about this earlier. Chad, I was watching a compilation of cutscenes from Silent Hill 2 Remake because I've already seen the game. Ooh, nice. Green Gardens. I really like the voice acting in Silent 2 Remake. I think that the James Sunderland, phenomenal job. I think it's fucking fantastic. His delivery on his lines is perfect. It's really, really good. Is the remake itself a good game? It's okay. It's fine, but Silent Hill 2 gameplay-wise is not that great either. Let's get that out of the way. I think they did a great job with the cutscenes and voice direction, personally. But immediately the top comment, pinned and liked by the uploader, is, man, this game has, they took all the soul out of it. What does that even mean? At this point, I don't even know what that means. I just assume that is a buzzword that people who don't actually give a fuck about the original just throw around because they were told that new thing bad, and they want to be on the popular side. They do it for everything. They did it with RE4. They did it with RE4 too. RE4 remake. That is a phenomenal fucking game. But apparently that game's soulless. No soul. Soul gone. Out of there. Took it all away. No, streamer, they made Eddie ugly. Oh, you mean they made the character whose entire character point is the fact that he's ugly, and then he was picked on his whole life, and that caused him to snap? Really? They made that character ugly? They made him ugly. Really? They made him ugly. Damn, that's crazy. I didn't realize he was a fucking Casanova in the original game. People who say this shit have never played the original. They have no fucking stake in this. They don't care about the original. They have no respect for the actual source or anything. They just say shit. They just fucking talk. And that right here, that is exactly what we're seeing right here with this Mima. Right here. People say, oh, Mima's great. Mima should come back. And then Mima comes back and nobody fucking cares. Nobody actually cares. They're just saying it because it's something they say. People don't have opinions. They don't have their own opinions. They're pre-programmed human beings. Pre-programmed human beings. Anyway, Barman music's pretty great. Bum bum ba-da-dum bum ba-dum. Silent Hill 2 Remake is not a great game per se, but I think it handles the source material with a lot of respect, and it adjusts some things that don't always hit, but for the most part is pretty good. It is longer than it needs to be. I do know that for sure, but I don't think it's a bad remake at all. And like I said, I'm very happy with the way the voice direction went in that one. People are like, no, it has to be campy like Silent Hill 2. No, it doesn't. Silent Hill 2 has campy, but then the end of the game for Silent Hill 2, it's less campy, and it's like, oh, actually, I feel emotion now. It's a great story. Silent Hill 2 is a great game. Not so much for its gameplay aspects. Touhou 12 is the best Touhou game. Oh, here we go. I think the UFO gimmick isn't as bad as people say it is, and the characters and spell cards are really good. Plus, the extra stage is super fun and has the best Touhou song in the series, Hey an Alien. Okay. Okay. I don't like Eternal Darkness. Eternal Darkness, I think that game is shit. I think that is a fucking shit game. Confusing, nonsense, stupid story, and horrible gameplay. I fucking hate that game. That game is garbage. Absolute garbage. Confusing, obtuse garbage. Hate that fucking game. Terrible game. But Silent Hill 2 plays similarly with its clunkiness. But Silent Hill 2 is a phenomenal game in every other aspect. But its gameplay is bad. It's not that great. It really isn't. Anyway, UFO good? Question mark? Yeah, sure, buddy. Whatever you say. Yeah, whatever you say, buddy. Whatever you say, buddy. Using items in impossible spell card is cheating! They're only there for people who are bad at video games, and you just needed to get good at bullet hells to beat it. Just learn the attack patterns and avoid. It is really that simple. Damn. I mean, that's obviously bait, I know, but I thought it was funny. That's just gonna make people mad. Chino and Marissa are overrated characters, and there are many other characters like Nue and Byakuren who are way more interesting to deserve more attention because I don't see much like half the characters in the series. Yeah. Yep. Glurp. 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 NGL, the old days were better. Call me a Gen 1er, but the whimsicalness and old fantasy look of Touhou was kind of presented way better back then, at least in the games. But hey, the new feeling of the games aren't bad. This is absolutely nothing serious, just a nitpick. I mean, he's right that the tone of it has changed because the series is over 20 years old. I kind of agree that the whimsicalness and old fantasy of Touhou became less when it started introducing more outside world stuff. When the outside world became a little more relevant to what was going on within Touhou, it started to lose some of that whimsy. It did. Just like when you grow up and you have to pay taxes and get a job. The whimsiness, the whimsy of life turns into 40-hour work weeks. Just trying to get by. Oh, streamer, sad. Yeah, a little bit. Call me a gem oneer if you want. I'm right there with you, chat member. Alright, I'm right there with you. I'm NGL. Show is the best character Zun has ever come up with and designed with. It's like he was sent to a heavenly pilgrimage that inspired him to create this wonderful character. Show should get more attention since I think she and Byakuren has a lot more stories to tell. I'm not going to lie, 12 and 13 are the best presentations of world building in Touhou's. Also, I'm not going to be untruthful even though it's extremely relevant. If we had characters for the female gaze, it would be Show. Well, there's plenty of characters for the female gaze. Show's not one of them. Renosuke's one. Sakui is one. Mei Ling's one. Boko's one. There's a number of them. Miko's one. Dude, OMG, I'ma be so real. Show unironically a good character with a solid backstory, but she is actually, like, unironically, she's a yokai that Byakuren picked out to become a disciple of Bishamoten, saving her life as tiger yokai became basically extinct due to the fear of tigers being more rationalized by knowing what tigers are, and then Sho being unable to stop Byakuren from being persecuted and sealed because it would give up her position. And whether or not she did it because Byakuren instructed her not to or because of her own fear, but then her fear, her own opinions of her inactions haunted her for like centuries following. So she is a very interesting character that is kind of just delegated to Nazar. Where my Pagoda? Where my Pagoda, Nazarin? I don't know where it is. Oh bother, I'm so clumsy. What the hell did I just click? Oh, don't worry about it. Yeah, kind of a pain in the ass. Yukari's train attack is cooler than everything else about Yukari combined. Well, I mean, kinda? Kinda. I don't know necessarily everything, but yeah, maybe. That's a hot take, but I kind of get it. Okay. The fandom is way too horny. It's to an extent where I can't open in my liking of the series without instant shame and scorn. The one thing if they were horny things, but it's almost everywhere. Oh, there's a Touhou rhythm game. What the fuck are like 2/3 of these Matama cards? Oh, the hit song Help Me Eren got a remake. Oppai Eren. It makes it look like Touhou was just a gacha game and that I'm in it for the boobs. That's anime in general, my guy. Anime in general used to be something that we were heavily persecuted for enjoying because there was a lot of shit like that. And then people got into it and were like, this should stop being in here because I don't like it. Live with your shame, bitch. Live with your shame. Touhou is one of the most non-sexual series in the entirety of like actual fictional world. It's actually impressive. There's basically nothing sexual about it. But it is completely and utterly turned sexual by fans who have nothing better to do. It's just how it works. It's just how it works. And it got worse. It obviously got worse. But did you really think anything is safe from pornography? Come on, man. You can't say anything. You can't say anything. Come on. Oh boy. Oh boy. Western fandom is comfier than Japanese fandom because unlike Japanese fandom, I can understand the English speakers. Western Touhou fandom are less contaminated by underage newcomers. Or at least the actual fans manage to separate themselves from these non-people. Meanwhile, Japanese fandom are based around SNS such as Twitter that relies on algorithm, and more than half of fans came from gacha after 2020. This guy has a Blue Sky account with 15 followers. Minimum 6 posts a day. complaining about social media. I have diagnosed you with the get off the internet. This is some psychosis shit. Yeah. That was a hot take, apparently. What kind of fucking nonsense did I just read? When people say gatekeep your hobbies, they're referring to you. They're referring to people like you. Touhou 17 is actually a hard game at times. I don't think anybody ever really argued that, but I guess this guy had a conversation with somebody where that was the case. Alright, whatever. Okay. Touhou 6 glazing is not bad. People are allowed to like what they want. Can you believe how fucking long it took us to get to an opinion like this? It took us this fucking long for somebody to say it's okay to like what you like. I cannot fucking believe it. Chat, there's not very many left. I'm basically at the end. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. Alright, time for a... Oh god, time for a word salad. Touhou 20's Fossilized Wonder squandered a perfect opportunity to reintroduce a boss from Touhou 2 Story Beast of Wonderland. This boss is, of course, the 5 magic stones. They fit thematically, and Fossilized Wonders, you start out choosing your shot type with incident stones representing past incidents. Wonder stones pop up as enemies. The giant stone pyramid, and the stage 6 boss is the stone goddess. In Story Beast of Wonderland, the 5 stones act as a guardian to keep Rainbow out of Ramadan. Similar to how Naruto serves as the guardian of the pyramid in Fossilized Wonders, they reside in the world of fantasies, and Toyohime can manipulate the moon between its scientific and fantastic versions. She also links the sea and mountains of the world of fantasies. The link between Gensokyo and Makai would be too outrageous. Just Toyohime would use the world of fantasies as a link between the awesome but purifying mountain and the sea of tranquility. It would certainly explain the liminal space Rainbow and Marissa passed before ending the moon at stage 5. Fossilized Wonders is undeniable that the 5 magic stones would be thematically fit seamlessly in Fossilized Wonder. Having them appear as a boss or mid-boss would help them flesh them out and give them sorely needed depth. A simple nod to them in one of the instant stones or as a cameo would with the 5 magic stones, so the well-deserved application certainly himself intended for Fossilized Wonders to go back to the basics of orthodox gameplay, but nothing would have been more of a pity to the callback to Story Beast of Wonderland, where Danmaku in Touhou Project began. Is he right? Is he right? Should Touhou 20 have... Should Touhou 02 reference Touhou 20? Is he right? Is he right? He might be right. He might be right. He might be onto something. What's a hot take, chat? He might be onto something. Jimmy, you barely read that. No, I read it. I definitely read it. There's a difference between reading and understanding, though. USD's music is overrated. Alright, and don't get me wrong, the music isn't bad. But it's almost all the songs... Luna Clog, Luna Dia, Tomboy Scroll, and Love, especially the youngest son of Teppis, to name a few, are so short and end so suddenly. UNO was Her is great. I really don't really understand why everyone says that it has the best music. You chose the Stage 5 theme? No, sorry, that's Stage 5 boss, Stage 2 boss, and Stage 6 theme. Okay. Whatever. Don't all songs loop? Yes! They all loop. They all loop. Alright. Rainbow and Marissa have all the most quality fan arts. The beautiful ones, not the lewd ones. Okay. I mean, I don't like Marissa that much, but I do agree that Rainbow can be very pretty. But she can also be very squishy. Voyage 1969 has the best piano opener. Well, apparently that's bait, chat. That's bait. Okay. Since after Touhou 18 release, nothing is interesting. This guy lost all whimsy in life in general after 2021. That's crazy. That's insane. Damn. That's bait, chat. That's bait. That's bait. 20 plus installments in the series is more than enough content. You could say that. Possibly. Maybe. You could say that. Same guy. Surely not. Well, that's bait, chat. That's bait. Alright. Yukari is a bottom 5 character without fanworks. Well, some characters aren't even characters without fanworks, to be fair. It's just bait after bait after bait with these guys. Bait after bait after bait. With Touhou being very open to use by other creators, it's a miracle that the Touhou fandom isn't more toxic than it is. Well, that depends what you define as toxic, because some people define toxic as having conflicting opinions on trivial subject matters. So, yeah. Dun 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 dun. Streamer once said he would buy and eat Yamame candies made with her using her saliva. And I support that. I mean, I support that too. I said it. That was my opinion. He did. I did say that. I did say that. Streamer take. Unironically, yes. That is a streamer take. Oh, great. They're weirding me again. They don't understand the context, so they're just weirding me. They don't get it. They don't get it. They weren't here. They weren't here when that whole... They weren't here when that shebang happened. They don't understand. They don't get it. They don't get it. They don't get it. Bum ba-dum bum ba-dum. I wish the more newer characters were more fan projects to give them more recognition instead of the usual characters. I wish comments like this would take the people who make these things into account when they're making the things they want to make. Either we accept that status quo can change and as such let PC98 characters be a thing of the past, or status quo is a must and we let old characters return, but it also means there won't be no change and characters can't die or disappear from the story. They already don't, but okay. Pretty weird either way you look at it. No, in Genso Wander, you can get Yamame candy, and it said that Yamame makes candy, and she flavors and shapes it with her saliva, so she rolls it in her mouth, and it gives it flavor and taste, and then that she sells it like that, and apparently it's very good. And I said, man, I bet I would like to try that. Sounds like it could be good. And chat was like, what? Why? Well, because they say it's good candy, so why not? Chat, your dog licks you with the same tongue that they use to clean their ass. Like, why is me wanting to have the spider candy, like, bad when this is okay? Not in the mouth. What? I'm just eating candy, bro. People eat snails. People eat all kinds of food. People eat mushrooms. You think mushrooms are just fucking out there untouched, unperturbed in the wild? We eat candy that uses dye from crushed up bug shells. See? This guy gets it. This guy understands what the fuck he's eating. You know what chicken nuggets are, my guy? Chicken nuggets are all the shit you couldn't sell in the chicken put in a blender. I don't even know what the fuck a hot dog is. You all eat this shit anyway. The only reason you guys don't get it. You don't get it. You don't get it. You don't get it. Like, oh, I'd share a drink with somebody. Oh no, but their lips touched it. Their lips touched the drink, so the drink is contaminated. Motherfucker, give me, let me try a sip. I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. Fuck you. That hurt my ear. Well, chat. That's it. I'm done. I'm free. It's over! I'm free! I'm free! It's over! Ah. Thank God. Fuck all y'all. What a time I spent. Well, chat, we did it. We made it to the end. Did we grow as people today, do you think? Do you think we've grown now that we know all these varying opinions? Have we improved? Have we changed? Have we become better? Have we become worse? The answer is who cares? Well, it's over. I had fun. Some of your opinions are bad. Some of your opinions are not expressed, so they're really bad. Some of your opinions are articulated to a degree where I actually agree with you on an issue that I otherwise didn't, but you explained it well enough that I thought, this guy's kind of got a point. And that right there was the whole point of it. For every 20 EOSD bad, I got one opinion that was actually a well thought out opinion that made me think and realize that we use words to communicate our thoughts and opinions. And then I got somebody who decided that if you didn't like a video game, it's because you're bad. You're a bad person. Some people are very aggressive about their stating their opinions, really. And those people aren't very fun to talk to. But that's not okay, actually. That's pretty awful. But I appreciate most of these opinions when they actually were thought out and put in, and I enjoyed the time I put into it. Some of these were awful, though. Some of these were genuinely awful and a waste of my time. You would not believe how many of them I deleted that you didn't see because they were just genuinely terrible. But that's okay, because I already said that if I saw it and it was bad, I would delete it and nobody would ever know except me and you. And I reserve the right to do that for anything I deemed unworthy. So I did. So in other words, go fuck yourself. But I hope you enjoyed. I don't want to do this again. Ever. Really. That was so much time, so much effort, so much pain. Keep your shitty opinions to yourself in the future. I don't want to hear them anymore. Thanks for watching.